Natasha, this is the first time we're speaking, so I feel compelled to let you know that I am a proud Lanfear defender. Um, Rafe knows this already, but she has never done anything wrong in my eyes, so
I love that.
The best
Thank
articles
you.
about Lanfear and the Forsaken really do come from Carly.
Oh well.
She
Well,
understands
thanks
you
to
on a
you.
deep level.
Thank you so much. At least somebody understands. Goodness.
but I feel like that's a good jumping off point. Because I did want to get into some things that happened in the premiere. Among them, sort of what the end of season 2 hints at, and then what we kind of see continue is this sort of tenuous partnership between Lanfear and Moiraine. And I wanted to ask you, Natasha, what your thoughts are. How much of Lanfear's willingness to work with Moiraine is kind of about trying to make sure her own neck doesn't end up on the chopping block, metaphorically speaking? Like, what do you feel like her angle is in working with her?
Well, it's total using. I don't think Lanfear has any reason to form a true friendship or strike up a true relationship with this woman, other than, you know, getting Rand where they need him to be. But saying that, it's I think these women are in the meeting of one another, and in these scenes that you'll see more of throughout the season together, is a complete. There is a respect for one another, and the headspaces, the things that we get up to, and they're both equally intelligent women that are on the front foot.
And they're both willing to use some pretty nefarious means to get to the ends that they want. And I think they see that in each other. And so, you know, sometimes you're most threatened by someone who's most similar to you. And I think you see a little bit of that in the Moiraine and Lanfear relationship.
Yeah, definitely. That ultimate nemesis thing.
Yeah.
I did want to jump back, Rafe, and ask you about, I think, the scene that you once called a bunch of women in their 40s and 50s just shredding each other. This incredible White Tower sequence, which I think clocks in at around 15 minutes or so, start to finish, of this episode. I mean, I checked the timestamp and I was like, I cannot believe this is still going. And, you know, complimentary, of course. Yeah. But from the writing standpoint, did it really feel like you had more freedom 3 seasons in to really go for something this big, this long, you know, this arguably pretty violent, as the sequence is?
Yeah, I think that we, you know, feel quite seated in what we're doing by season 3. The network has a lot of confidence in us as well to just sort of hop on board. And they were just as excited about opening with something like this as we were, and just saying, let's throw new audience members into it. Let's just take the old audience members back and not kind of coddle them and remind everyone of exactly where we were and where we left off, and just go for it and follow it through the action, and always try to keep it, you know, even when we're doing action, we're trying to stay emotionally connected to the characters so that you're really following what each of them wants through the sequence. The Moiraine Swan relationship, you see Alana and Maxim and Ivan, her warders, like you're following a lot of relationships and desires still through this, but you're also on this really fun ride to start the season. And I think it's a sequence. One reason we liked it is not just for the action, but it's a sequence that could only be on the Wheel of Time. There are no other shows that can have a sequence like this. And so that's
before the opening credits.
Yeah, before the opening credits. When you do see the Wheel of Time logo come up, you're like, Jesus, what just happened to me? You know, and I do think that it's something we can only really do with this group of women doing that to each other. And you know, we want to do the things that we can do best.
I mean, speaking of one thing that can only happen in the Wheel of Time, Tel'aran'rhiod, which, as we know, Lanfear's always held a very strong power in. And it's also a place where the mind can really transform anything in the blink of an eye: setting, clothing, I mean, you name it. And so, Natasha, I wanted to ask you about kind of getting to play in that world a little bit more this season, especially because in these first couple episodes, we already see Lanfear using Tel'aran'rhiod to sort of mess with different characters in their dreams.
Yeah, it's straight in there, isn't it? With the mind bending, to put it politely, that Lanfear is putting upon the two river folk, and what she does to Egwene. It's that's really something. It carries on. It carries on throughout the season.
Yeah, you really see her mastery of this place.
Yeah. I mean, Moghedien, this is the reason why Moghedien is fierce competition in that
in that
area,
respect,
and that's why she's sweating about it so much. So that's in the back of her mind always.
Yeah, and I think that seeing Lanfear be afraid for the first time, this character that we've never seen, she's never been threatened by anyone we've seen on screen. And so once Moghedien comes into her world and you see the threat these other Forsaken pose and how it affects her, you start to feel for her and empathize with her and kind of want to see her succeed, I think, within the world of the Forsaken. And meanwhile, she's doing the most absolutely horrific things to some of our most beloved characters in the dream world. And to kind of be able to walk that line and be both of those people, as Natasha's able to do at the same time, is really a skill. And you never lose the sense of fun she sort of has with it too, of like, she enjoys being alive. And, that was her big opposite from Ishamael in the last season, is, like, she likes being alive. She likes experience. She likes love. She likes feeling things. She likes all the things that are to be human and to be alive. And you get to see her enjoy a lot of them this season.
Ominous note to end on, Rafe, but I am all out of time.
Okay.
Thank you both so much for speaking with me about season 3. Always a pleasure to pick your brain, Rafe, and Natasha. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Really
thank you
lovely
both
to
so
meet
much
you.
for your time.
Thanks. Can't wait for you to see the rest of the season too.